Welcome to episode 77 of A Message From. We're your hosts. I'm Allison.
I'm Edward.
And it smells like a burnt quesadilla in here right now.
Because you burnt a quesadilla?
I burnt a quesadilla.
Wow.
I make quesadillas all the time.
Uh-huh.
How did I burn it?
It happens. You just wait too long sometimes. You get busy chopping something else.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let me quick set the table. Everything else is done. And then I come back and I'm immediately like, oh God, she's burnt.
Was she really burnt?
She wasn't. It was edible.
Edible, but enough to make a smell.
Enough to make a smell, yes. So, that's what's happening here today. Burnt quesadilla.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, you have at least 40 candles you could light to,
Let's
mask
not.
it. Mask or mix.
Let's not talk about that. You can actually, if you're watching the video, you'll see right here is a candle hiding in the background.
Oh, yes. Is that the persimmon one that you can't actually light because the wicks are too small now?
I'm so annoyed about that. But no, you almost have it right. The persimmon one is hidden right over here. You can't see it, but this is tropical something, but it's the same exact color as the persimmon one.
Right.
So.
But the wicks are too small on that one. Or the persimmon one.
The persimmon one.
Ah, I knew it.
You had it. You had it
I was
right.
You're right. I was half right. Do you want to get into Alone right away?
We need to get into Alone right away because there's legitimately there's one thing that needs to be said about this episode. And I hope you're on the same page with me.
Okay,
and it is Biko's impersonation of Gollum.
That was literally 4 seconds. I can't believe you remember that.
It was so funny. It was the best part of the show. The rest was so boring.
Oh, really? I don't remember it being necessarily boring. I watched it last night. I'm talking about it as if I watched it a week ago.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it being interesting either, because now I'm trying to think about one thing that happened that was whoa for me, and I'm coming up with nothing.
Blanks. Oh, what's her? Was it?
No, was
it Rose?
Teresa. Oh, what? Rose? Well, she cried.
Yeah, she was the one who got lost in the forest and cried.
No, Teresa. She cried. Lost in the forest. Rose cried kind of in the forest because there was a bear circling her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This was I felt like it was an intense episode because Rose was almost mauled by a bear. Another bear is in that one guy's camp. There's only 5 of them left. I think I remember their names.
Clay. Strolling past his homemade smoker for the meat, the deer meat.
Teresa almost hypothermia. She was trapped in the lake for 35 minutes.
She got herself tangled in the lake. She took 8 items out into the lake with her. Was just dragging them along and got
Yeah. I was very what is? I was confused a little bit because I was also doing something else while watching, but I think I would have been confused by what was going on, even if I was fully paying attention. So there's that. Those are 3 of the 5. The guy with the boat, Colton. I don't think anything crazy happened with him. I mean, he fished and he got 2 fish. So living life. Oh, and Bikos, who did his Gollum impression. And made his I'm just wild the type of shelters going on here. Biko's piece of shit castle kind of with the drawbridge, and then Rose, who's living in barely a lean-to or something, and then you have
bad.
crazy ones like Teresa's pit house, which we've discussed before.
Yeah,
it's wild.
It's insane. Clay's is pretty nice too.
He was he was oh, I gotta finish my shelter because it's literally snowing. And I was you're a dum-dum.
Yeah.
You're a dum-dum.
Yep.
But who am I to judge? So I think my one thing is Teresa almost drowning in the lake.
That was...
And your thing was...
shocking.
I was scooped. There's a plane going over right now. I don't know if you can hear it.
No, I don't believe I can.
Great. Maybe I'll cut this. You said you had a question for me.
I do have a question for you.
Do you want to ask me the question now?
Yes.
Or do you want to ask me the question later?
I will ask you the question now. So my friend asked me this question the other day, and I was like, Wow, this is a hot topic, and it's perfect for today's message as well. It's a hot topic, and it goes with our message. Okay, quit judging me.
Oh, with today's message?
Oh, okay.
No, things that sometimes people say things are wild and crazy, and they're not very wild, nor are they very crazy.
It's not wild or crazy. I didn't call it wild or crazy. I called it
an example of an adjective.
Topic.
It could have been dull, and it's not actually very dull.
Anyway,
insert adjective.
The question is, what was your go-to order from the ice cream truck as a child?
Oh, God. So, see, where I lived... Go ahead.
I'll go first.
It's a question for me, but go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Was this not a question for me?
You seemed like you couldn't really, you didn't have an answer ready to fly.
I have to preface. Where I grew up in the suburbs, where my parents' house was, there was no ice cream truck coming. So ice cream truck was only when I was in the city in this place or one block over. So it's hard for me to remember because it was not as frequent as as probably yours was. Mm-hmm. Your experiences were. So if I'm thinking, it had to have been like the orange dreamsicle or like the Flintstones push-up. This is a weird thing, but
the push-pops.
The push-pop. Yeah.
The push-pops, yeah.
Yeah, those had to be my two.
Not bad.
What was yours?
I do love a push-pop, but I never got one from the ice cream truck. My favorite was,
maybe they didn't have
I don't remember the name of it, but it was like this cherry flavored, it was like a cross between ice cream and popsicle consistency, and there's a gumball in the bottom. It came in this like little plastic cone cup thing, and had a gumball in the bottom. I loved that. Yeah.
Like that gumball would be very cold, would it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Kind of hard.
Okay. Yeah.
And then like the strawberry shortcake, of course, classic, so good.
Oh yeah, but I feel like, where did I eat those? I feel like I ate those at like, I was gonna say courtrooms, but that's not right, and it's not a food court either. Like the lunchrooms. That feels very like.
Oh, you had those in a lunchroom?
It feels to me, for some reason, I'm having like lunchroom flashbacks.
Our lunchroom ice cream treat was ice cream Snickers in middle school. Those were like the hot item.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't even know where I would get one of those, like strawberry shortcake things now. Me
neither, because I only got them from like ice cream trucks, and I think maybe like, well, yeah, it would have still been an ice cream truck at like fairs and carnivals and stuff.
Yeah. I would fuck one of those up right now.
So good.
Yeah, that would be very good. That was a good question. That does tie into our message for later.
It
but
does.
Before we get into that, I have a game.
We love a game.
All I do is think of games to play.
Your specialty.
It's my specialty. There's a TikTok trend going around where, I don't know, have you ever done this? Sorry, I do this all the time where I say something and then I ask a question without explaining what the hell we're talking about or I'm talking about. It's essentially, you have a certain amount of time, I'm assuming. I've played this like in person before, just like mostly in Europe, actually, now that I think about it, where you get a letter and there's like a certain amount of categories and you need to think of something for every letter in a certain amount of time, and you get a point for every correct word, right? Or answer.
This is literally, what's the game?
I don't know.
Was it categories? This is a game we played all the time as a kid.
Is categories like that? I know that's a game.
Came in a box. You had like a notepad. There was a die, and it had 26 sides because it had all the letters on it. You would roll it, and then whichever letter it was, you flip the little sand timer, and then everyone has to write down one word for each of the different topics. It was long. There were a lot of categories. And then
that sounds... Yeah, I've never played categories. Like, I know it's a game. Mm-hmm. Like, taboos categories. Like, if someone were to, like, rattle them off, I'd be like, those are the ones I'd rattle off. But I've never played. So, if it's that, then that sounds right. I've only ever played in, like, living rooms in Europe with, like, a random notepad because everyone's bored. But anyway, it's like a TikTok thing going on right now, right? Mm-hmm. So, I wrote down all the things. And we're going to see if we can do it. One by one. 2 by 2. Or
this is gonna be. Wait, can we each get a different letter?
Yeah, I have a random letter.
Okay, perfect. Because I was like, we can't do the same letter because then.
No, of course not.
No.
I'm gonna give you about 10-ish seconds per thing. Per category.
Per thing?
Yeah. Because it's otherwise we're going to be here forever, and listeners are just going to be listening to silence.
Okay.
I know. I was like, how can I make this fast enough? And I was like, 10 seems like an okay number. Maybe not. Okay. Maybe this is going to be a disaster. We'll find out.
We're going to find out. Am I going
first? I will tell you. Do you have the list up, or do you want me to tell you what? I'll tell you what it is.
I have the list up, but you can tell me what it is.
I'll say what it is so the listeners and viewers know what's going on. And you're not just saying random things. There are 10 categories. I counted them out. Not that was hard to do. And your letter is going to be the letter L.
The letter L.
Yeah. So.
Wait, when do I start?
Now. Country.
Luxembourg. City. Livonia. Animal. Lizard.
Okay.
Body part. Oh my gosh. Can I do it in a different language?
No.
Skip.
That's something in 10 seconds. Job.
Lawyer, brand, Louis Vuitton, famous person, Liam Neeson, clothing.
That's a hard one.
Is there a clothing item that starts with L?
Chemical element.
Chemical element.
Oh, that's easy.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure it's a chemical element. 10 seconds are fast. Sport.
Lead.
Yeah. That's a chemical element. That's not a sport, though.
That's the chemical element. A sport that starts with the L?
I can only think of things that aren't in English.
Oh my gosh, this was a hard one. The first time I did this yesterday, you
got about 8. Though.
I had the letter B, and I was like,
"Oh, B is easy for sports,
right?"
Yeah,
for all of them.
I was thinking lithium.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about lead though. That's PB, isn't it? Is that PB? Mm-hmm. That's the one that's always weird. And you missed clothing, body part, and sport. So I guess you only got 7.
Yeah. What would clothing be?
Clothing, long johns.
Oh my gosh, long johns. So
that's
random.
A good one. And then sport, I do not know. Long jump.
I was trying to think long something, but can you call long jump a sport, or is it part of a greater I wouldn't think that's its own sport. It's like track and field, right? What is that category called in the Olympics? Athletics. Yeah.
But it's an event.
It's an event. It's not a sport.
I mean, if you gotta find
long
an L.
jumpers do not even start with me.
I don't think anyone here is a long jumper, so I think you're in the clear. The only other thing you missed was body part.
Body part. I was thinking tongue in French starts with an L. Obviously, I was in Spanish, but I'm
oh.
And then I was you can get laryngitis, but I was laryngeal.
Your larynx.
I was trying to think what is that thing in there?
I would have gotten that though for a really long time.
It was
earlobe, I guess, but that doesn't really count.
No, because there's something before it.
Large intestine.
I was trying to think of what is laryngitis related to, but I couldn't think of the word.
Your larynx, I think,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
All right, not too bad. Okay. 7 out of 10 is your official score.
7 out of 10.
Do we think I can do better?
If you get a better letter, absolutely.
Well, only time will tell. The time is right now. All right. You are going to have to tell me if I'm taking too long.
Okay.
All right.
I got you.
My random letter is M. Country, Morocco. City, Madrid. Animal, mountain lion. Body part, muscle. That works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Job, mathematician, material scientist. I don't know if those work. Brand with an M is going to be something I don't know, so I'm not going to come back to that. What is a brand?
Time.
Oh, shit. Okay, famous person is Muffy Morocco from... That's not a famous person. She's on a game show that I watch all the time. Now that I'm my grandfather's.
Okay, time.
Joe Manganiello, M. Clothing for M is I don't know.
Time.
Oh, damn it. Chemical element for M. I don't know anything that begins with an A. Manganese. And sport is with an M.
This one I can think of. Think of me.
Think of you.
Time.
Boxing.
Mixed martial arts.
Oh, yeah. Let me think of mixed martial arts.
Well, I like to watch MMA. I thought that might and then when you said boxing, I was like, oh, he's getting there.
Oh, that is closer. Yeah. All right. So what did I miss? I missed 2.
You missed brand and clothing and sport.
Sport.
Yeah.
No, I got clothing. No, I didn't get clothing.
No.
I didn't get brand. Sport.
So we're tied.
Mixed martial arts. We are tied. But wait, what is clothing that begins with M?
I kept trying to think mento, but that's obviously, again, in a different language. I don't think anyone would use mink coat. Does that count?
Sure, that counts for me. Yeah, why not? And a brand I couldn't think of. For some reason, I was trying to go coffee.
Marc Jacobs.
Oh, Marc Jacobs. I don't think of clothing.
Miu Miu. Missoni.
Okay, now you're just doing high-end brands. I was thinking Folgers, for some reason. When I see brand, category. I was only going to clothing. I don't know why. Yeah, that's fair.
Nothing else was entering my brain.
I don't know why. That is a lot harder when the timer's on.
When the timer's on and the camera's on and the microphone is on.
Yeah. I think we should do this. We should do the actual filter on TikTok.
We should.
For next week.
Mm-hmm. That'd be fun.
That'll be the official tiebreaker. See who does better on there. Because we're tied.
Okay.
We're 7 out of 10. So there's that.
We're tied. So, yeah, that's in the books. Let's take a break. Catch your breath. We'll be back.
Hello. Edward here. Just wanted to say thank you so much for listening. It means a lot to both myself and Allison. And it would mean even more if you sent us a message at 202-630-4509 or a message from pod@gmail.com. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and throw us a rate and review. 5 stars always feels good. And check us out on amfpod.com for all the little extra content that we have. Now let's get back into it.
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the break. As per usual, today we have a message from the Most Millennial podcast.
We do.
So, Reed, Sean, and Drew are the hosts of this podcast. They kind of explore experiences and events that have shaped their lives and what makes us who we are. And it's obviously they're millennials, so it's done from a millennial point of view. So far, they have 3 episodes up on, wherever you find your podcast episodes.
Yeah,
I listen on Spotify, Apple, all that jazz. And then we'll also link to them in the show notes. So if you want to check it out down there as well, we'll link to them there. But quick story. So I was listening to their first episode when I was working out. So I just was frantically jotting a couple notes down. I don't know if you saw my weird notes in our show on the doc. Yes.
No, I didn't. I just didn't look at yours.
So in their first episode, they're talking about climate change and stuff. Obviously, something that us millennials and our children and future generations are currently dealing with and going to face into the future forever. Yeah. And they mentioned how there's currently this huge sriracha shortage right now. Because it's the area that the peppers come from, it's been too hot and arid for the peppers to grow. Mm. So they can't even make the hot sauce. And I'm hot sauce is the last casualty I expected from climate change, right?
Anything food related to me is up there high.
I mean, hot sauce of all things. But it made me flashback. I think because my mind was on millennial vibes, I was okay, I'm in the zone. It made me flash back to one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies as a kid. there was this one where they all went down to Louisiana and this, like the hot sauce farm was being haunted. They like made peppers to make hot sauce at this like farm with this big mansion. It was being haunted.
I remember the haunted mansion with the voodoo dolls. It was in like the bayou.
Yeah. In the bayou. But they made hot sauce there.
Oh, I don't remember that part. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a good connection though.
That was my favorite Scooby-Doo movie.
I think that was great because didn't the people turn into like cats?
Yes, they did.
That was cool.
Like werecats.
But I also loved the one with the witches because gay. So there's that. Love that shit.
Yeah.
Should we get into their message though?
Yes, let's get into the message.
Okay, let's get into it.
Hey, Allison and Edward. This is Sean, Reed, and Drew from the Most Millennial podcast. Most Millennial?
Hey, this is Reed.
Hey, this is Drew.
Tonight, we've been kind of discussing within ourselves about things that we're nostalgic for in the 90s. And one of the things that we were talking about was Go-Gurt. And just thinking back on how ridiculous of a product that was.
Hashtag get that Gurt.
And that it's still around. I was surprised to see that it's still very much in circulation. I thought it just was gone.
It's actually just repackaged Go-Gurt from way back in the
It's all the stuff they couldn't. It's all the stuff they couldn't sell in the 90s.
Hey, what's the expiration? Oh, it's still good.
So I guess our message for you is wondering what sort of things are near and dear to your heart as millennials, and do you relate more to like the 80s, 90s vibe, or
Where does your nostalgia fall?
Maybe it's more the 90s, early 2000s. We're not judgy. We're just wondering.
That's me.
And I think we all have to agree. Another thing we talked about tonight was the NSYNC versus Backstreet. Ooh. Yeah, this is getting controversial. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Backstreet back, all right.
No, dirty pop. Dirty pop.
So if you could weigh in and solve this problem for us, that would be super helpful too. But thanks for
split down the middle. There's 3 of us, but it's right down the middle.
Right down the old middle.
I just can't decide.
He loves them both.
Yeah. So thank you, Allison. Thank you, Edward. And hope that you're having a good time.
I have so many thoughts.
This feels like something you'd have a lot of thoughts on.
Yeah, I love this message.
First, I just need to know, were you a Go-Gurt person?
I was a Go-Gurt person.
Were you a frozen or refrigerated Go-Gurt person?
Frozen, for sure. Frozen. It had to be frozen.
Had to be frozen.
Once it started melting, it was like on the edge of like, I'm gonna barf if I eat any more of this.
Oh, interesting. Helicopter.
Now that I can hear.
Gone. Oh, it felt close.
It's so funny that Go-Gurt was like the first thing they brought up, because as soon as I knew we were getting a message about like millennial things, my mind immediately went to the insane foods we had.
It was a very crazy food.
Why were we eating Go-Gurt? Why were we eating Trix yogurt? It was like neon colored sugar yogurt.
It's because it could be, I think. Everything was like neon though at the time.
Surge. I was not allowed to drink Surge. I wanted to drink Surge so badly, but my mom wouldn't let me. The neighbor kids, we'd be all out on the street riding our bikes, hanging out. Like my neighbor friend would ride by on his cool BMX bike. Another thing my mom wouldn't let me have with his can of Surge. How old were you? I was like, I don't know, in elementary school, maybe middle school.
You wanted a BMX bike when you were like 9?
Who didn't want a BMX bike when they were 9?
Me. I didn't want that.
I was going to be the next big thing, but then my mom crushed my dreams, wouldn't let me get that dyno. But anyway, I wasn't allowed to have Surge, which is honestly, thank you, Mother. That was a good decision. Who knows, like, what my insides would look like right now if I had been drinking that. But
Well, did you drink Mountain Dew? Can't be much better.
I went through a phase where I would drink Mountain Dew if I was with certain people who were like Mountain Dew drinkers. I was never like, we always had pop in the house when we were kids, but I wasn't like drinking multiple pops a day. That wasn't my thing.
I was always like Diet Coke lime because that's what my mother had because she was like chugging those all the time.
My
never
mom
do.
Was obsessed with the caffeine-free Cokes that came in the gold can.
Yeah. I feel like everyone loved a form of Coca-Cola that wasn't just like normal Coca-Cola.
Yeah, everyone had their specific kind.
Yeah. Do you want to go back to the Backstreet Boys NSYNC thing first, though? Before we get into the weeds to help them figure this out?
Yes. I want to say I'm sorry. I can't help you because literally I like them both the same. And I feel like that's very controversial.
See, I have a different controversial opinion.
You didn't like either.
I hate them both. But if I had to pick one, it would be NSYNC only because I was obsessed with Britney Spears and the Spice Girls. So those are my two things, right? And I remember getting a McDonald's like toy kind of. It was a VHS that had a Britney Spears music video on it. I'm pretty sure it was the one where she's in the red suit. I can't remember the song for the life of me right now.
Is that not Toxic?
No. It was the one where like the old lady, she's like, I thought the old lady dropped it in the ocean. Well, I went down and got it for you, baby. The like astronaut. I think it's Oops, I Did It Again.
That's not Oops, I Did It Again.
It's not?
Wait.
I can't remember for the life of me what it is right now.
That's not Oops, I Did It Again. Is it not Toxic?
No. It's not Toxic.
Is it Lucky?
No, Lucky's the one in like black and white, and then it turns into like color.
Oh my! We do not know Britney Spears.
I'm such a Britney Spears fan, apparently.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, that was on it, and then the other one was, I'm pretty sure it was NSYNC, but it was the one where they were like puppets.
Yeah. NSYNC.
That was the other one. I mean, I didn't like the second half of the VHS that much. I just called them NSTINK.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not like them. My aunt was like super into them, and Backstreet Boys. And I remember being like, I hate this. Like, why can't we listen to like Britney Spears or like Spice Girls? So neither of us can help because you like both and I don't like either.
But you said if you had to pick, you'd pick NSYNC. So I think that
gun to head, I'd choose NSYNC.
I think that kind of solves it because I had the CDs for both. I loved them both. I knew the words to both. I didn't have a favorite. I think I did have a Backstreet Boys poster on my wall, though.
That could edge it out.
So does that mean that I liked Backstreet Boys more? It's still tied.
Yeah, I think it does. We'll have to check the official rules with the Most Millennial podcast, see what they say. But
yeah,
it seems like I'm edging for... I'm putting up for NSYNC, and you're slightly putting up for Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oof.
So is there any other foods you want to talk about in the foodie foods? So I have like a small list of things going on here that are kind of random, but...
There's one thing that's, you can't really call it food, but you ate it. Well, you drank it.
It was like most things in the 90s.
Did you ever take the liquid pink amoxicillin when you were sick?
Yeah.
That was like stored in the refrigerator?
Yeah.
Oh
with
my gosh.
Weird, that stuff was test tube thing you drank it out of?
Yeah, like the spoon, but the handle of the spoon was like the tube that you put.
Yeah.
It was so good. Did you love it?
Because you got to choose the flavor. It was like mostly bubblegum or something. And then, but sometimes you could get like a different, like sometimes
I always did
like
bubblegum. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Yeah. When I think of that, I also think of the fluoride at the dentist. They'd be like, we have these 3 flavors. And you would be like praying it wasn't like all shitty flavors.
Yeah.
Because it truly was in your mouth for so long. Oh.
Just in there dying.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate it when it was like banana. But that also reminds me of like this will be funny because you tried to murder me with a popsicle when we were together, right? But when I think of other like crazy type of like flavoring things, like when it comes to the medicines and the fluoride, I also think of like that weird box, yellow cardboard box of popsicles that were like banana, root beer, grape, and like I don't know.
There was like an orange usually, or
yeah, and it was like always the ones that like I don't know why there was like it seemed like the box number 2. There was
box number 2 that no one wanted.
Yeah,
or was it even box number 3? Because didn't they have also fudge-sicles?
I hate
in the same yellow box. Oh, I loved that.
But as a child, I grew up hating chocolate, so and I still don't really like ice cream that's chocolate. And I still don't like
the fudge-sicles.
That's a whole nother thing. But that's why I eat dreamsicles, because I didn't like the fudgesicles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things were good. Very good. Vivid memories of eating them in this house, but like in the yard. Also vivid memories 90s of, I don't know if this is particularly 90s, but it feels 90s to me. Spray on glitter. Like misting spray that has glitter in it.
I feel like that was early 2000s. I feel like that was,
Probably.
yeah.
But I was like, it was definitely late 90s too, because I was
but you know
young.
what? Bath and Body Works, they had their
wild kid selection.
Their kid selection. What was it called?
I don't remember, but I remember spending time there.
Oh my gosh, so much time, so much money. And they had the roll-on glitter.
Yep. This was like a bottle that was like yellow. Well, it's clear.
It was like neon, clear, but the lid, wasn't the lid like a neon color?
I don't remember specifically the Bath and Body one. I know that it was,
the spray.
There was like types like that, but the one that my grandfather had here, he had like 4 bottles of it. Not for him, I don't think, but maybe, I don't know. But I use it all the time.
Glitter.
That and like bandanas worn as tube tops. And it's like, thinking back to like stuff like this, it's like everyone must have known that I was gay. And Spice Girls gum specifically.
I don't think I ever had Spice Girls gum.
It was just gum, but you would try, they had it was like, you know how the album had like spice on it, but they were like, you could draw a perfect rectangle.
Yes.
Around the letters. So it like worked well on like little gum packages, right? So you'd get the individual gums and they'd have like a girl on it or something. You know, one of the 5. And I would get it sometimes up street.
That's like the zebra gum.
Yes, which is on my thing. Was that on your thing or did you see that? That's why you're bringing it up.
Well, I saw it on yours and I was like, I won't add it to mine. The flavor lasted for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Me chewing like a whole pack at once just to feel something.
Yeah, you were in it for the tattoos.
The tattoos. That's what I say. It was for the tattoos, really.
Yeah.
I remember like seeing it for the first time and being like, it was at like my cousin's house or something. Or like, a cousin of a cousin or whatever. And being like, what is this? Where do you find this? And it only ever being in her place. And I never knew where to get it anywhere else until I got a little bit older and realized it was just like at the store.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
All stores.
Yeah, I know. But I really, for the longest time, was like, it's only ever at like this cousin's house. Like, I don't know how she's her parents got the hookup somehow.
Magic.
For this like crazy gum that tastes amazing and that can turn into tattoos.
What was this is absolutely not 80s, 90s era at all. I think it's way, way earlier. But what was the gum with the comic inside? Did you ever have those?
Oh,
they were
rings
like
a bell.
A perfect little rectangle. They were like sometimes you'd get like a really hard one. I don't know. I feel like their stale to fresh ratio was not on. But
I don't remember.
It had a little comic inside.
It's like ringing a bell, but I can't exactly picture what the product would be. When I think of hard gum, I think of like chiclet or whatever it was called.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those were
another thing that had like insane colors on it. I don't see those anywhere anymore. Not that I
No, but I'm like, when am I ever in like a candy aisle or a gum aisle? And I can't tell you the last time I went inside a gas station. When I was a kid, my best friend and I, we would rollerblade. There was this gas station that was like a few blocks from our house. Mm-hmm. And so we would rollerblade there. And the owner's son would always be working during the day. And he would let us go inside with our rollerblades on.
Very nice.
So we would... Very nice. So we would always go inside there and just buy like random snacks and candy and stuff. But I feel like that's the last time that I really was like regularly in a gas station. Yes. No, I've been in a gas station since then, but not very often. But I feel like that was the last time that I was like regularly around candy and gum, like the whole selection.
I see it every time I'm like when you were at the checkout. Like that's where I think I saw chiclet all the time. Was like a checkout.
My eyes like don't see the stuff in the checkout.
Little blinders, like a little horse in Lancaster. Got your little blinders on.
Large horse.
Your gorgeous little horsey.
Look at my mane.
Another thing that was big, if I'm gonna like take a step away from food and gum, which like terrifying, like remember how like a kid they'd be like, don't ever swallow your gum, which like you shouldn't do obviously, but like I don't know, that feels like very 90s to me, but that's just because I was young then, I don't think it's particularly 90s to like not swallow your gum. I
think it's just you don't have to tell adults not to swallow their gum.
right but and this is also something that is like very much not just a millennial thing, but like Pokemon. like the trading card game was like obviously huge back then.
Yeah.
And it's huge now. And I don't know if the cards are necessarily, I mean, the cards are huge still.
I
but
feel like
not
it's all just
were.
like games, like video games and stuff.
Well, kids still have the cards. Kids still love the
okay.
cards. And I think like obviously adults too as well, to like an extent of like who wants to collect and play those things. I still have all of mine and I refuse to give them up. My mother hates that. She really wants them gone, but they're in a box somewhere that she's not allowed to touch. But I remember having this like Tamagotchi, but it wasn't a Tamagotchi. It was a Pikachu.
Oh.
And it was like a step counter, essentially. Got it at a garage sale in Ohio. And essentially what it was is like the more you walked and had more steps, like the happier your Pikachu would be, and you could like feed him little apples and stuff. But obviously my brother and I figured out that it was like done by steps. We would just like sit there and shake them in the car so that our Pikachu would be super happy. I wonder what happened to that thing, but who knows? It's definitely gone somewhere.
I never had a Pikachu one, but I did have like the OG Nano Pet. Mine was silver.
Nano Pet.
I did have a Tamagotchi, but I had the Nano Pet first, and I liked it better. It was the silver one, the sparkly silver one. We were out at dinner once and spilled some Coke on it. So forever there was a little tiny bit of Coca-Cola in the top corner of the screen. But yeah, that was not like step counter related at all. You just had to make sure you fed it and cleaned up its poop.
Right. Yeah. That's why I'm like Tamagotchi in like big air quotes, because like it was like size wise the same, but like in function it was very different. Loved him though. He would like run across the little screen and he would get like real fucking pissy if you like would only show his butt or wouldn't even show up at all. If like, oh my God.
Why was the Pikachu so testy?
Because I wasn't walking him, quote unquote, aka walking myself. I know. But anyway, what are you gonna do about it?
Nothing. You're not going to do anything about it right now. He's lost. He's dead
gone.
somewhere.
He's gone. He is, which makes me sad. Is there anything else that you want to sort of bring up, millennial-wise?
I mean, okay. You want to stick with toys or you want to move to shows?
Well, we don't have too much time, so it's up to you.
Pick one and I'll tell you my favorite.
Show.
My favorite show was Eureka's Castle.
Okay, I don't think I know her.
Did you watch?
Remember, you're older than me.
By 3 years.
But,
it's
okay,
not that
think about
much.
it though. When you're like that young, 3 years makes a difference in terms of memory.
Okay, true. So what was your favorite show?
In the night, I don't even fucking know. In the 90s? I don't know. I have
You
no
don't know?
idea.
I could
have
list
no
you
idea.
so many.
It had to be like Wishbone.
Wishbone?
I was young.
Well, I don't even know if I know that.
You don't know what Wishbone is?
Wishbone? No.
The dog who solved
Well,
mysteries.
obviously it's a dog because his name is Wishbone, but what? What did he do?
He solved mysteries. It was like a PBS thing.
I didn't watch PBS. Miss me with that.
Wait, you really don't know what Wishbone is?
The more you say Wishbone, it sounds familiar, but I don't know if it's just because you're repeating it so much.
I had a Wishbone, like, stuffed animal. And he wasn't, like, small, but he wasn't, like, huge. You know, he was, like, a decent size. That thing was foul because I, like, wouldn't let go of it. And my mother had to, like, put him in the wash. And he came out very, very clean, obviously, after that. But he had, like, one of his little paw strings, you know, like the one thread to signify that it was a paw. You know, like came undone, so I'd always like play with it because it was like a little bit longer. But he like sat next to me in the car everywhere I went. He like sat next to me here, sat next to there. Wishbone, maybe it was Wishbone. I don't know, but it's like kid shit.
Okay, well, so now we have an assignment for each other. I need to watch Wishbone. You need to watch Eureka's Castle.
Do we need to watch, or can I just Google it?
Go to YouTube and watch like a clip at least. You need to at least see the intro.
Okay.
Because I can hear the jingle playing in my head right now.
Okay, I can't hear any jingle.
But I won't sing it.
Yeah, well, you know what happens when you sing. You've sung before. That's on your own accord. Good. You want to sing?
No. Nope, we're done here. We're done.
All right. Thank you so much to the Most Millennial Podcast for sending in that message. It was perfect and very fun to talk about. Unfortunately, we didn't solve your Backstreet Boys and Sync Dilemma, but we hope it was entertaining nonetheless. Definitely check out their podcast. You can find everything in the show notes or in the description if you're like watching this. But the most millennial podcast wherever you listen to your little pods. Definitely, if you want to send us a message about something, maybe it's millennial related, who knows? Call us at 202-630-4509, or if you live outside of the US / you just want to write in, you can do that at a message from pod@gmail.com. Definitely check us out at amfpod.com for bonus content and like all our social links. You can find us on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Twitter. It's a message from on Twitter. I think it has an underscore under it, or at the end of it rather. And rate and review 5 stars. Do all that fun shit. Am I missing anything?
I feel like that's everything.
But it's everything.
TikTok. We're on TikTok as well.
I said that.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're missing nothing.
It seems like you aren't paying attention.
Have a lovely day. I zoned out a little bit.
Are we gonna end? Are we ending?
Words on.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.